Right, this is Rachel. We're back with the Next Step podcast. I'm so stoked. I got the guys on today. This is awesome. We have a real amazing story to tell here, and I'm just going to toss out the questions and have you guys do a little back and forth. We have Jason and Mike with us, and been friends for a long time, but Jason presented Mike with Revive at a really pivotal point in your life, Mike. Why don't you guys tell us a little bit about how that happened?
Actually, how Mike and I really got rolling is we'd known each other for quite a while, socially at the gym, whatever. And Mike was still active duty at that time, and so Mike had inquired if we had, because he knew we had started Next Set, he had inquired if we had some product to go over to the Middle East because him and his unit was suffering from dehydration, malnutrition. So we did. We sent a big care package, if you will, over, and we got really great results from that. But during that deployment, Mike and I got talking and started peeling back some layers behind the iron curtain, if you will, of the military, and really started addressing the issue of the PTSD problem in the military. So our conversations got more in depth, and he said, hey, what do you think? Can you do something? So that's kind of when you and I, Rachel, got serious about Revive. So we put it all together, and Mike, if you will, was our first adopter. He took it first, and from there we've seen nothing but a complete change in really his whole entire comportment, his mental capacities. But I'll let Mike speak more to that. But it's been a fun journey, and I don't think we're close to being done yet.
Yeah,
so
it's
a good start. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good
So,
start.
Mike, you tell us a little bit about why PTSD is an important issue for you, especially in the military.
Man, that's a loaded question. Wow. Everyone at their level suffers from some issues of some sort.
Right.
Mind issues. Post-traumatic stress disorder. It's varying at levels. For myself, it affected me different than other guys in the military. It's us all differently. Initially, I pushed it away for years. I hid it, pushed it away, pushed it deep down, and you know what? I'll get over it later.
Is that common
Yeah,
for
extremely.
guys in the military?
Extremely.
They can do their job. They need to get what
Compartmentalize it all.
yeah,
Exactly.
they need to get stuff done, and they can't worry about really
Yeah.
how that's impacting them.
A buddy died. I'll give it 2 minutes. All right, I'm over it. Gotta go. I'll cry
Wow.
later. I'll grieve later. Talk to his wife later. Write a home letter. You know, we'll take care of it later. But at the time, I just pushed it away for years. I like deploying, like going over there, like saving people, like taking care of the bad guys, we'll say. I enjoyed it a lot until my wife got pregnant and we had our first baby and realized time to stay home. That's when I turned the page over my life, realizing, all right, I'm more of a homebody. Combat for me is over. Deployments are over. That's when it began to hit me of, this isn't normal. I don't feel right. I see my friends finishing college with their degrees. We're friends at the gym. Me up with Jason. Like, we're about the same age. Not you and I, but other guys.
Yeah.
Like, we're about the same age.
Well, come on,
but-
Mike. We're not even close.
Thanks, Dad.
Cool.
And
Hurtful.
we're not the same. Like, grew up the same age, same school, same location here in Utah, but something's wrong with me.
What was different? How did you feel different? I think, and we're speaking to a lot of guys and women who have expressed that it's really frustrating for them to feel that lonely in that place of, suffering from PTSD. Like, what things made you feel different than everybody else?
2 words, I think, trigger points. Movie theaters couldn't do it. Couldn't go to the shopping malls. I
So crowds.
pushed people away from me. I'd go in there. I'd try and start fights. I'd go to the gym and I'd look to start fights. This isn't like 15, 20 years ago. This is in the last 2 or 3 years. It got pretty bad for me. I had some issues with the police, but nothing major enough to where another police commander would walk by. Who are you? You know what? Go away, because we don't want to put someone like you in prison or charge different issues. I never had some serious violations, but it was getting pretty bad for me personally.
So it was just as all that was coming back, and you were feeling
In
like really like
waves.
hypersensitive to everything around you,
Yes,
especially in a
extremely.
civilian environment.
Yep. It still hits me nowadays, but not a fraction of what it used to just 2 years ago.
So when Jason introduced you to Revive, what was your state of mind at the time?
My gosh, it was bad. My memory was atrocious. I vaguely recall our first few, even that day you met with you at Draper headquarters, Army headquarters here in Draper, Utah. I vaguely recall that meeting. I hardly even recall it whatsoever. My memory was atrocious. I couldn't remember 24 hours later what this guy's name was I was meeting with. That was last winter, I believe.
Is that common?
Yeah.
For guys suffering,
I've had a lot
well,
of
guys
TBIs
and
as
women
well.
suffering.
TBIs, traumatic brain injuries. A lot of us, there's a lot of guys a lot worse off than I am. I consider myself very fortunate for that. But at my level of TBIs and issues I've had previously, it's pretty common for us. Yeah.
So what did you notice when you first approached Mike with Revive and maybe the option to, kind of help him out?
And that conversation really started because Mike was feeling multiple side effects from multiple different medications that the VA had him on, and he just said, my brain's not working. So when we introduced Revive, what I noticed from Mike most often would be, I don't know exactly the words or the terms they use, but I would notice a thought-speech disconnect with Mike.
Like an example would be?
He would start in on a thought, and then he'd just kind of go blank, and then he'd like, oh, shoot, I forgot what I was going to say. Or he'd have ramblings that weren't quite making sense, and then he'd realize it, and he'd stop and kind of be a little bit embarrassed. And
so did you feel like you were kind of thinking inconsistently or incoherently?
It was a body-mind separation, definitely.
Interesting.
One of my therapists, the VA, did mention that to me. He kind of hinted towards me, like, yeah, I feel like when I'm speaking or moving, my mind's 20 feet ahead or 20 feet past, my body's somewhere else.
So you really had a hard time just being present in the moment with people, with your loved ones, carrying on a conversation, keeping one thought process going. And you noticed it?
Oh, very much so, yeah. I wouldn't say if a layperson didn't know that Mike was in the military, having worked in psych for 4.5 years, I kind of understood where he was coming from, so it was a little more prevalent to me. But I would say if a layperson walked up to Mike, they'd say he almost had a stammer or a speech impediment, because that's how it came across. Is his speech wasn't fluid, it wasn't quite coherent, and he was very edgy, very anxious, very, I would say, keyed up, very, very.
Did you ever worry about him?
Well, no, I didn't. Probably because of my size. I didn't really worry about him, but I could see where people would.
Did you feel like you were on edge, like you were unpredictable to yourself?
All the time. Yeah, minute to minute, it varied greatly. Especially 6 months ago. You mentioned I got off it a few months ago.
Oh.
I stopped. I think that's what she's trying to hint towards, to where
I wasn't scared, but I was concerned.
Just as a friend.
As a friend, yeah, just as a friend. Because
I know we've had different guests in here who are caring for their husbands, and concern is the word that they bring to mind. Like they're having to text them constantly, they're having to reassure them constantly, they're having to, the wives are really consistent in how they're treating these husbands.
And my wife is fantastic. For years, she was great, big supporter. Hadn't been for her, I wouldn't be here. I'm 100% sure of that.
So it's really that consistency in supporting you and staying like with you along this path of wanting to find some solutions. Or
it was hard for me. I didn't want her to hold my hand. I'm an adult. I'm a grown man. Please don't hold my hand. But luckily, she's a bigger person than I am, to where she knew I needed that for a long time.
That's
awesome. She was there for me.
So really what you're saying is like it does count when friends and family like are aware or
it's
concerned.
100%. It's without a doubt.
Yeah, that I think that's a Friday night you were talking about. He scared me in the fact that I knew he wasn't normal, because he got on the Revive and Mike became Mike. He called me. He says, "Hey, I've been out of Revive for like 3 days." His voice sounded very depressed, very slow. He says, "Do you have any?" I said, "Yeah, come up to the house," because I could tell he was backsliding. So he knocks on my door. And my jaw hit the floor when he opened the door. He blank stare, nothing in the eyes, and he just said, "Help me." So I said, "Come on, Mike, come inside." And we got him some Revive. And then it wasn't me. I was gone on meetings or something. A friend of ours, she was at the gym, and she goes, "Mike's back." I said, "What do you mean?" She goes, "His eyes are bright. I can tell that his mind's working. He's back." So there was a very palpable and a very visceral response to Mike being off and to Mike being on, which was very gratifying, because he's found something that's non-pharmaceutical that actually helps him.
So Mike, a lot of people want to know, like, what do you feel like when you take Revive? And I know it's different for everybody, but will you kind of describe, like, what is it like when you take Revive? And what is it like when you don't?
Great question. I had a lot of time thinking about this, but I knew it was going to come up eventually. So for me, it was quick. I began taking it within 3 days, or no, it was the very next day. Jason, I feel calm. My thoughts are being collected more frequently and faster. Second day, I feel different. Third day, definitely something's happening. I called him the fourth day I saw you, the very first time I began taking it, met in Draper. And holy cow, I feel great. A month went by, 2 months went by, I'm feeling fantastic. The third month I got off of it. 3 days later, I felt like I was gone again. Oh my gosh, I felt like I was back in the military. I couldn't think. All my classes, I was missing classes after 3 days because I forget about the classes. I had class tonight, late night math lecture, I forget about it. I have to go to work. I sure I work today? What day is today? That's after 3 days. I got back on it 2, 3 days later, back on it. I'm back alive again.
Wow.
It's not the energy. I don't feel there's no energy for it for me.
No, it's not a stimulant
No,
by any
not
means.
whatsoever. But it's the clarity. The fog is gone. I can think. My GPA at school is a 3.7.
It's awesome.
I
That
was-
is awesome. From like having one profession to going into student mode, that's amazing.
Yeah, it was the exact opposite of my military career. Now I'm 100% math major, geography, surveying, and therefore it's completely separate field for me. It was difficult at first. I almost flunked out of a community college. That's embarrassing. But yeah, on Revive, it was night and day difference.
That
It
is
was
an
amazing for me.
incredible testimonial. What's the science behind it? Why is this working so well for Mike?
Well, the proprietary blend of cognizin, which is a blend of acetylcholine, what we found is that the acetylcholine realigns the neurotransmitters in the brain. Mike hit right on it. It's brain fog. You get a buildup of, I like to just call it gunk. So when you're on the stack, the antioxidants, the vitamins, the minerals, the oxygenation, the hydration, the acetylcholine with the creatine brings those neurotransmitters back. So we're getting clean signals across. So like Mike said, he goes from a foggy, disconnected thought process to a clean, linear, cognitive pattern of speech, of thought, of processing. So that's really the meat of it.
So it's really brain food.
Yeah.
It's
And if you notice
essential
on the
brain
bottle,
food.
it does say brain chow, and that comes right from our military guys. They named it, and it's very aptly named.
Yeah, tell us about mood changes. Like, how did you notice your mood, or did it change taking Revive? Like, how you felt towards your children,
Wow.
how you felt towards other people.
This might be a minute. My wife should be here for this. It's astronomical. I ran out of it last week. I was gone. And again, it's for me, every time the third day off, the third day back on is my key. My wife and I eat very clean at home. We're clean people. We have a very clean lifestyle. So when I get off of it, I can tell almost immediately the next day I'm missing something. Same thing going back on it. My mood changes, they're almost immediate by the next day. 24 hours, I can feel a mood change.
Like, as
My
in
anxiety especially my anxiety. I have anxiety all the time. But with this Revive, it's manageable.
that's
Nothing else
pretty
from the
impressive.
VA, nothing as far as anxiety controlled medication whatsoever. No Xanax, which I used to like, I'm not going to lie. But yeah, my daughters, I love my kids beyond life itself. However, when I'm normally myself off of Revive, it's hard to handle for me. The stress of that little ball of energy they have, I can't handle it. I have to leave the house. Wife even sees it, honey, go away for a few hours. Go to the gym, go for a drive, take my dog for a walk, something. But the girls right now are pushing your buttons too hard. And I
So
realize
she
I
can
walk
she
away.
can key into like when
She
that.
knows it. Yeah.
And has it been easier to be, to be a dad, being on it? Like, has it been easier to engage with your kids and play with them and be
The
with them?
patience level is astronomical as well.
That could be life saving in a lot of ways.
A year ago, before we began Revive, like I said, I couldn't handle my kids. I had to take one for an hour or two, but honey, I need some help. My mom, I need some help. Come watch my daughter for a little while. I have to get out, go to the park. I have to get outside. But with Revive, I can hang out with my little girls, both of them for hours on end. My wife leaves for work for a week at a time, once a quarter throughout the year, and there's not a problem.
Wow.
Sure, I'm still a guy.
Yeah.
I still have
Yeah.
the anxiety, still have the energy levels, but I can manage it. Not a problem whatsoever.
Well, and to be in school, I mean, I think that's so impressive to go from like active military to being in school is such a dramatic change. I mean, as a professor at the university, I would see these guys come in and they really had a hard time transitioning from from that very active career
Yeah.
to like sitting and, taking notes.
An FBI friend of mine years ago gave me the equivalent to, you went from a lifestyle of your hair's on fire all the time, you're always ready to go, you're always deploying, always nonstop action, to, all right, now I'm sedentary, what's going to happen? And my mind raced for years, what's going to be going on? I was in a dark spot for a long time, real long time, and my mood never changed. I was depressed all the time, and it got deeper, it come back a little bit, but never got back to prior to I was happy Mike. I just couldn't be happy.
So when he says he feels like Mike and you see it, you notice when those changes occur.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Give us some tips, you guys, on like supporting somebody with PTSD and kind of, I think, as the public, how can we be more supportive or helpful in like just supporting these guys who are going through these really hard times?
It's being a friend. Really. Jason texts me, Mike, how are you doing today? Oh, I'm pretty good. Cool. Let's go to the gym. Awesome. I'll see you in an hour. How's it going tonight? Oh, I'm doing this. Want to go to dinner? Sure. I'll meet you in a little while. It's just being a buddy, like the 22 a day symbol. Text a friend, text a buddy, take them out. That's all it really is. Letting someone know that you care. Yeah, can't feel I can't sympathize with you, but I can empathize. But I'll listen to your problems. I'll take you out. Let's forget about your problems. Let's go to the gun range if you can do that point in time. Go something that veteran likes to enjoy. Let me take you. And I don't want you to buy things for me. I hate having pity. I hate the pity part.
Yeah, so you don't need stuff.
No. But
Just
a text,
friendship.
a reminder, a hug. Let's go hang out. Cool, let's go hang out and BS for a little while. And for most guys, I'm sure girls the same way, but it means a lot to us.
Yeah, that's powerful. And that's really helpful for us as a community to be able to say, like, there are things that we can do to help. There are things that we can do to reach out and
it's not a
be
whole
a
lot we
friend.
need either. It's not a whole lot. Yeah, just
You
like
guys
said,
have been
being a
pretty
friend.
independent for a long time, so it's not like you lack independence. It's just, like you said, like camaraderie. And I think that camaraderie exists right in the military, and then you come home and it's like, well, how's that change for you?
I miss
Having
it.
your brothers and
I
then
miss it, yeah. It's big time.
and then no net when you come home.
It's the family net for sure. Yeah,
So-
I went from camaraderie to the military and Army buddies deploying nonstop to, now it's my family. This is what I need to focus on now.
And so those family members really do need to be supportive and friends need to tap in and say, like, how you doing, Mike? What's up? Let's go play. Let's do something.
I don't want to say they need to, but some guys do need it. I needed it at the time. Jason knew it. He sent me, luckily, got me on this path back to where I needed to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a cool story. What advice would you guys give to guys who have recently come back from deployment or are exiting their military service, like men and women?
This is just my opinion as a third party, peering in. I know there's a lot of, in the military, like Mike already said, we compartmentalize everything. Coming back, I didn't know what Mike was going through until I started asking questions. Once I kind of got a grasp of what his issues were, it was very easy to extend because I knew what to look for. I kind of knew what to do. Communication, in my opinion, keep the communication lines open. There's a saying that a lot of the military guys use. It's called crawling into the emotional cave. And they said, do not let a military guy get into that cave because usually the only way he comes out is with a gun in his mouth. So keep talking, like Mike said, keep texting, keep the communication lines open. And that seems to really help in expressing themselves. And it's okay. This is a safe zone. This is my buddy. This is my family. This is my support circle. It's okay to talk about these things. It's okay that I'm vulnerable. It's okay that my new normal is not my old normal, and that's okay. A lot of these guys have service dogs. Thank goodness. These dogs are lifesavers. Those dogs are their appendages. Treat them like Mike. Mike's dog Jimmy, part of the family.
That's
So
that's great.
don't treat them any different. Or
But understand that they're making a transition.
correct.
You've done it really, I think, really successfully, Mike. I mean, that transition to civilian life, it's got to be brutal. But what advice would you offer others going through the same thing that you've just been through?
Jason nailed it on the head right there. Don't let yourself get deep in thoughts. I would At nighttime, kids are in bed, wife's in bed, house is quiet, house is dark. I'm like, oh, finally, go out in the living room and be quiet, think about myself. I want to stay up and get deep in my thoughts. Before I know it, it's 6 o'clock in the morning, 7 o'clock in the morning. I was awake all night thinking on the couch. I wake up, I was depressed. Next day, I don't know if I worked today or not. And I just not doing anything all day long. The longer I sat in my own thoughts, the worse it got. It was absolutely horrible.
Very, very powerful information right there. So what can somebody do if they're trapped? They're trapped in their own thoughts, or they're trapped in their own head, and they're really trying to make that.
You've got to be breaking out of it. Somebody has to text you, break out of it yourself, get up, go somewhere. You have to break out. Yeah, it's hard to do by yourself sometimes.
What were some resources that you used to be able to do that? Because I think you've done a tremendous job at
I've come a
just
long
moving
ways.
through that.
Yeah, the first while I spent a long time in a black fog of abyss. Really, I have no memory after my 5th deployment. I think it was my 6 months back from that deployment. I have no memory whatsoever. That 6 to 12 months, I have no recollection of what happened those time periods.
Wow.
How I got out of it was honestly, it's my wife. Yeah, Mike, we're going here. We're going on vacation. We're going here. We're going to go see somebody in the VA. She took me to the VA one day. It got that bad to where I had no idea I was that lost.
So really disrupting those thought patterns and kind of getting you to the point where you're not in your head all the time by yourself,
and that's
alone.
the word is disruption. I had that personally. I had the slap in the face. You're screwing up. This is going to happen. Wrong path. I needed it. Yeah.
That is important and powerful information. This has been really insightful, especially for us who aren't, haven't had that military experience. But what I'm taking away is nutrition's really powerful and potent in, reviving you and reviving your brain from all that trauma that you've experienced, and adding the right supplements in. Tell us how you not only revive, but what do you combine it with in the Next Set series?
I take Revive in the morning first thing. I take a half scoop of the pre-workout. So yeah, stage 1, half scoop of that. So it's not a whole energy boost in the morning. I don't want the caffeine. The caffeine for me brings me back to bad places. I can't do caffeine very well. But half a scoop of charge. So they're, the pre-workout, if you want to call it that. With Revive in the morning, it tastes great. It's perfect. I get going. The Repair, I take also in the morning with a smoothie. My kids love the taste, and I want to have the clean kids before they go to school. And for me, after the workout, it's fantastic as well. That's the way I take those two. As far as the BCAAs, obviously gym time.
Yeah.
I'm working at my civilian job in the field, hiking mountains all day long. I'm dying thirst. I take the BCAAs throughout the day, and my daughters love it too. Daddy, I want your drink, which means the BCAAs.
That's so great.
They're
And they're kid approved, they're kid friendly.
Yeah.
And safe and clean, and that's what we're proud of. I really want to thank you for sharing this information. I know there are a lot of people out there, even if they haven't been in the military, that have suffered from PTSD or anxiety or depression, and the way you describe it is so helpful, because I think it's that feeling when somebody feels so alone, like nobody else can understand them in that dark, dark place, that really there is hope, and that as a friend, it's important to reach out and keep contact and keep connecting, and also disrupt those times when your friend is lost in their head. So any final parting words before we let you guys go? This has been an awesome conversation.
Just as from an outsider's perspective, again, I'd like to reiterate, reach out, be there, just be available, be there. Keep those communication lines open, because having now dealt with this for almost 2 years with the military, it's the communication that seems to bring these guys out, that it's okay, it's a safe zone. I've communicated with this person or these people, this support group, and that gives them the comfort and gives them, if you want to say, the courage to say, I can speak about this because I've talked with this person or these people multiple times. It's okay to get help. So communicate, I think, would be a very important.
You're really good at that, Jason. You're a really good friend to all of those military guys. And
I appreciate
Mike,
it, definitely. I need that communication. It saved my life numerous times over. To add to that, if I could, first thing is the communicate. Got to communicate with these guys just like myself. The second thing is I needed a goal, a mindset. For me, it was deployment, but now it's my family and my job. Looking forward to having a good job I enjoy, but making the money to support my family. That's what keeps me going strong. Wasn't for that, my family, I would give up.
So you really do need to look forward and have hope and have goals and
Yeah, something to keep pushing you. Yeah.
yeah, that's powerful information. If anybody has questions about PTSD or the military or NEXT, can they like email you guys questions or contact
I have a
you?
counselor at the Salt Lake Community College email me probably once a week. Other veterans, hey, help this person out. Sure, give me a number. Or email him. I have no problem whatsoever. Yeah.
You guys are awesome for doing that. So can we just send them through NEXT?
Yeah, absolutely. DexXSupplements.com, and you can reach us there, and we'll be more than happy to put you in touch with
Answer questions.
with a military guy or answer questions if we are able to. But we use us as a resource. That's what we're there for. We support all of our military men and women, and most graciously say thank you for your service and for what you do for us. And if in some small way this is a way we can say thank you, it's our privilege and our honor.
Absolutely. You guys are awesome. Thanks. Keep up the great work.
Thanks. Thank you, guys.